Now, the article says that why the Creator instructed the divine to make a human body with the garbage molecule, the most, like the largest, most filthy, right, particle called molecules. In the God's eyes, this is the layer of molecule, this is a layer of particles that is most low and filthy. So in this article says, why the Creator instructed the divine to create human body in the garbage dump? The answer was, in this article says, it is because in this realm, it's most painful. Life is most painful.
Yeah.
Okay, so when the spirit is put into the human body, okay, when the spirit is put into the human body and become a complete human being, excuse me, the spirit will suffer most painful experience. How so? We already know we are now already in this human body. You and me, we're walking on the earth, we're wearing the human body, right, outfit,
Yeah.
and our spirit is inside of this human body, okay?
Yeah.
Our spirit already experienced how painful it is living in this human world, because our body cannot fly all over the place. Our body cannot do anything we want. We basically need to work really hard to make sure that we live, right? We cannot like sleep on the bed for a whole day doing nothing, because our body will feel very hungry or thirsty, right? So we need to keep on going to make sure we have food, we have drink. In order to get food and drink, we have to go find a job, right? We have to work, and then when during the work, people treat us bad. And then we have trouble with people competing for jobs, right? And basically we had to go through from the young age to go to school, be very diligent, and get education and find a job. And you're gonna have to just go through life. Every day you have to suffer of all formats: birth, aging, sickness, and death, right? Conflict with others, pain of all kinds. The body is a torture machine. Whatever little problem will make our body very uncomfortable, right? So our sensory organs are very sensitive, We can be harmed, hurt, and experience bitterness and sadness and anger and jealousy and competitiveness and all kinds of human emotions all the time. So being a human is not easy, okay? Being human, in this human world, if you review the human history, people always live very hard, especially people have no food, no drink, and starving, and, natural disasters and earthquake and war, all kinds of formats of problems, never ending. So, yeah, it is true. When a spirit enters the human body, it's very painful. It's very painful, So it is a very painful place. To be a human, the fundamental nature of human existence is that nothing is permanent. Everything will go bad. Beautiful lady will turn into ugly ladies. Handsome young men will turn into ugly old men. And, great, beautiful car will break down into garbage, right? And everything you want to hold on to that's beautiful, young, and fresh and good eventually all turn into garbage, correct? So this is a realm that human spirit inside of the human body definitely going to go through all forms of sufferings. Okay. So this is a very important truth. Spirit coming down into the lowest part of the universe, enter into the human body. What they are actually doing here is actually all the sufferings is for one purpose. It's called a purification. spirit must come to be a human to be purified. What does it mean? Okay, when the spirit first is created in the universe, in the higher realms, by our Creator, the spirit is very beautiful and pure and clean. As in the book of Zhuan Fa Lun says, when the spirit was first created in the universe, through the substances in the universe mutual interaction, the life is kind. It contains the fundamental nature called 真善人, truthfulness, compassion, forbearance. The beautiful nature of the lives first created in the universe is totally one with the character of the universe. But as more lives are created, social interactions occur for those lives. In the social interactions, selfishness is starting to become bigger for some lives. When they become too selfish, they lose the power of staying at the higher realm. They will start to be heavy and drop down. At the lower level, they again become more selfish. The spirit will become again more polluted and drop down. So when the spirit drops all the way down to the bottom of the universe and drop into the garbage dump of the universe, these spirits are too dirty. In the eyes of the great enlightened beings, they're supposed to be destroyed completely. It's garbage. But the great enlightened beings decided to give these lives one more chance. So the great enlightened beings created a realm called the human realm. That's in the book of Zhuan Fa Lun, lecture 1. Okay. So according to this lecture, according to this writing by Master Li to all sentient beings, all humankind, in this most recent publication of Why Mankind Came to Be, Master Li gave more details this time about what really happened. So it was our Creator, actually. Although the Zhuan Fa Lun only talks about the great enlightened beings, right? But in this recent article, it stated very clearly that it is our Creator who is behind this whole rescue plan of the drop-down lives. It is our Creator's love for all lives and all His creations in the universe that our Creator designed and constructed a shelter for the drop-down lives, the drop-down spirits. Our Creator first asked the divine beings to make the human body. Our Creator then put the drop-down life, spirit, into the human body and made a human being. Okay. Then our Creator, in order to allow the human being, this new form of lives, at the lowest realm of the universe, in the garbage dump, to be able to be rescued, our Creator designed a software. The software of human life is to let the drop-down spirit inside of the human body to suffer in the process, what human beings call suffering. Human beings label that to be suffering, but in the Creator's software, this process, although painful, is so meaningful because it is our Creator who is purifying the spirit. So suffering is a mechanism of purification for the spirit. Now, I can say I totally agree with it. Why? Because every time when I suffer in the human world, every time when I go through a terrible sufferings, after I finish sufferings, I always find my heart to be more pure and good. Every time when people treat me horribly and they rob me, abuse me, humiliating me, do all the bad things towards me, I was feeling very painful. And but when I go through it, when I finish going through the process, I suddenly realized that, wow, my spirit become more noble, more kind, more pure, okay? So I do believe that suffering is meaningful for human life. I validate it. Because throughout my journey in the human world, all the sufferings, when I look back, was the best gift I received in life. It was through sufferings that I become beautiful, noble, mature, kind, more kind, and with more power. Every time when I suffer, I learn some lesson and become my asset. I can use my experience of suffering to help other people who are still going through sufferings, right? So I do believe that, yes, human sufferings is a mechanism of spiritual purification. Okay. So when you say how the Creator used human body to deliver salvation, my answer is suffering. Suffering is a mechanism. When the human spirit is in the human body, goes through the human lives, and as we already know, human beings even go through birth, aging, sickness, and death, and reincarnation, and come back again, right? So human beings doesn't live only one life. Human beings come back again, right?
Yeah.
To be human, For what? Suffering again. To suffer again and again and again. And every suffering is meaningful, because in this lecture, in this writing, Master Lee says, the old people says, don't complain that you're having a bad life. Just be good, and endure sufferings. And the next life, you will have a better life, right? Right? So basically, suffering is not a bad thing as a human being. And throughout the Chinese history, the elders always teach the young people, don't be complaining about your sufferings of life. You're poor, you don't have money, and this and that. You just have to be good. Even when you're suffering, don't forget you need to be a good person and follow morality, right? What is the true meaning called moral guidance? If you look at all the moral principles, let's give you an example. The fundamental moral lesson is about no loss, no gain, right? Cause and effect, right? Like what you do to others is what you do to yourself, right? And the kindness will be rewarded and the evil doing will be punished, correct? If you look at all those moral lessons, what is it it's teaching people to do? It's teaching people to be good, right?
Yeah.
What means good? It means that when you're suffering, don't complain. Okay? If people treat you bad, don't treat people bad, right? Continue to suffer, Don't fight with other people for trying to get better, right? And just to follow principles and do what you need to do for life, So moral principles are fundamentally guiding human beings to fight against the sufferings. In every regard, don't fight against the sufferings. And if you have to suffer, suffer. Because it's a gift of life. In every regard, right? So, the mechanism for our Creator to use human body to save lives is to let the spirit, who is already polluted, not pure anymore, already having too much selfishness and the dirt. Selfishness is like the dark matter in the eyes of the divine beings. So if the spirit is too selfish, it's going to be destroyed, right? So that's why the Creator wants to save a spirit like that, is to put that spirit into the human body and let the spirit come down into the human world. by inside of the human body and suffer and pay back for the debts. And through doing all the sufferings and paying back all the debts, and the spirit will be purified. And purification of the spirit is the only way for save the spirit. Make sense? That's it. So that's the reason the human body is extremely precious. Only when the spirit enters into the human world and wearing the human body, that spirit can start to experience suffering. Okay? And the whole experience of suffering is for the spirit to be purified. And when the spirit is purified, the spirit then can be elevated. And then the spirit can return to the original place where the spirit was first created. That entire process for a spirit to rise beyond humanness is called cultivation practice.
All right.
Okay. So throughout all the, entire human history, you look at what's the true meaning of human existence. It's filled with suffering, endless of the sufferings of all formats, right? And then it is filled with stories about great, moral practice and the great spiritual teachings about how to stay in the human world, follow the moral principles, which is the operational mode of the human world for human beings. And only when human beings follow the moral principles and operational mode that is designed for the human world, human life eventually reaches its destination, which is ultimately go beyond the human level when the spirit is purified. Right now, our Creator is giving the entire mankind the final opportunity to be saved. So when the universe is reaching to the end of the time and everything is degenerated and the human world is all dark and chaotic, right? Every human spirit is going to go through quite a lot of sufferings. But for what? It is for the ultimate salvation of all the spirit that's right now we're in the human body. And only those people who know this mechanism, they will then gladly be good. And they will not to do bad things. And when they go through all the challenges of life, they are delivered to the new world. So that's why Master Li's lecture is giving the light to the darkness of the human world, to the delusional human mind, and say, stop all fightings. Stop all competition for gains for yourself. The ultimate purpose of coming to be a human is to endure sufferings, eliminate karma, cultivate to elevate your spirit, and then return to your true home. Right? So that is the key message of the writing, Why Mankind Came to Be. Master Li laid down the details of how our Creator planned the rescue of the lives and the creation of the universe. And the great, even gods and the lords of the universe now, they come into the human world and are wearing human clothes, human body clothes. And they are now all in human forms. So walk around looking at our surroundings, all these human beings. Inside of them is the spirit of the gods, okay, great gods in the universe. And they chose to come to the human world to be a human, and they have no memory of who they were. They are now only think that they are human. They want to live a happy life. They want money, they want power, they want women. And they struggle with each other, against each other. They label themselves as a Chinese, a Korean, a African American, a Jew, and they all fight with each other because of their identity, so-called, okay? And so, delusional human world, people forget about their true origin, but then Falun Dafa teaches 3 words: truthfulness, compassion, forbearance, and to remind mankind that these are the fundamental nature of the universe. And the reason you come to be a human is to wait for the Creator to teach you the way to be saved. Now, how the Creator will save a human being at this point, like you and me, okay? Our Creator delivers a set of disciplined lifestyle. First of all, there is a book called the 转法论. That book has 9 lectures, right?